women in leadership and why to speak about it. But first of all, I think it's important because AI is part of our daily life. Maybe you already adopted, or maybe you're skeptical, or maybe you're thinking about adopting AI. Whatever level you are, I think it's important to have a little bit of understanding about it. I did a research in 2024 in October. I spoke in a panel and conference in Armenia about leadership and AI. And my research that I did at the time, based on our relationship as human beings with social network and so on, how could AI impact us? And my finding at the time are confirmed by different research that are out there right now, because there is more data and there is more understanding how we are using AI and so on and so on. So I think it's important to understand how AI can impact our cognition. So, like, for example, when the phone came out and we start to have a cell phone with us, we started to stop memorizing numbers. Like, for example, I remember only my mom's numbers because she's the only one that didn't change her number since then. But I barely remember my my new number here in the UK, for example, because I rely on the phone, on the cell phone, basically. And this is happen even with AI. So one of the most cognition that are impacted by AI is our attention and our focus. Because with AI, we are bombarding by algorithms. For example, the way that we use social, the way that we focus. And these can be impact our leadership too, because maybe we rely on artificial intelligence to focus our attention on, and so on and so on. So it's very important to be aware why and what we are delegating to the artificial intelligence. Another area of our cognition that can be impacted by artificial intelligence is creativity. We rely on artificial intelligence, on find new title like Espresso Leadership. Of course, I brainstorm with AI. At the beginning, my idea was like short kind of thing. And then I brainstorm and come out the idea of Espresso Café, that I really like it. But if we rely too much on AI, we can be in a place where the creativity is flat in a way that will be more driven by AI, and we will forget our own creativity. So what you do to cultivate this area of your brain, of your personality, outside the using of AI. For example, I like to paint. I'm not very skilled, but it's something that helped me to unleash my own creativity, to understand what I like. So this is another point. Another point that can be impacted by artificial intelligence is decision making. We are relying more and more and more in our decision based on the artificial intelligence. We ask GPT what we should do. We ask ChatGPT what data we rely on. We ask for research and so on and so on and so on. And these can be picked by artificial intelligence, but not with our own willing. So we can artificial intelligence can left out information that we need to take decision. It's also helping decision making because we are in in a time where we are bombarding with a lot of data, and we need to make sense of this data. So artificial intelligence can be helpful to understand patterns that maybe our mind cannot pick up on this. So it's about understanding where we are losing and what we are gaining, and have this in mind. Another area that can be massively impacted by artificial intelligence is our social skills. So there is research, for example, that told us that people are using artificial intelligence, especially vulnerable people. Think about young people, teenagers, and they ask about artificial intelligence, what they're doing in the relationship, and so on and so on. And also the way we communicate with artificial intelligence can be very different on a way that we need to communicate in real life. When it's come to ChatGPT, sometimes I just throw questions like, give me this, do this, find this. But if in our formative years, especially, we do these things with artificial intelligence, we may miss how to communicate and how to be in a relationship with someone else. Also, ChatGPT, for example, or other kind of artificial intelligence are used as therapist or coach. And that can be detrimental because research indicates that using ChatGPT, for example, for this kind of scope can overlook and validate narcissistic traits in your own personality, because artificial intelligence is not something that challenge you. It's always, most of the time, really pleasing. And this is a marketing choice. This is another thing that, especially as a woman, we need to understand. Because the way artificial intelligence work is massively based on training. And training are made by people. And people are biased. Especially in our society, there is a lot of bias towards women, towards men too, but more massively towards women are the one more impacted in our society by this bias. So understand how the artificial intelligence is used to train the scope and the agenda of the company that made these products. We need to have them in mind. And another thing that is very important is the ethical use of artificial intelligence. We need to be aware that or we create an artificial intelligence or we use an artificial intelligence. These have impacts on real life. These have impacts on people. These have impact in our workplace. How we implement artificial intelligence in an ethical way? This is a fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves. And that's why it's important that we cultivate our emotional intelligence, our understanding of the bias work, and minimize the impact, the bias of this technology. And another very important area that we need to be aware of is artificial intelligence is massively created by men, because we cannot deny that, but in the STEM there are more men than women. So the one who understand the technology, own the technology, develop the technology are mostly men. So it's important as a woman to cultivate as much as we can in our possibility and our interest, of course. I'm not asking you um, to be engineer, informatic engineer, and so on and so on, but try to be in that space, put ourselves in that space, because we cannot let to be only for men space. So basically, this is it for today.